America has a patchwork culture of the dreams and songs of all its people. This is Alan Lomax. Come with me now on an adventure in our marvelous patchwork culture.
I want you to love me or leave me. Anything you wanna do.
These are people of the Mississippi Delta, the land where the blues began.
I want you to love me or leave me. Anything you wanna do.
I worked 12 years. That's me and my girls. Farm 12 years. Didn't have no men help at all. And I made it.
They rose their widow. So big they draws. Got me when
For these people, the Delta was still wilderness, virgin territory, a frontier, and they poured into that country by the thousands looking for work, looking for opportunity, better pay. And they lived a violent life in the construction camps, far from everything they knew and loved. And out of that life of violence and sorrow came the blues.
what hard times everywhere. Where I go, Lord, hard times, baby girl, drive me to go. Hard times, baby girl, drive me to do.
Their bards called on old African resources, rhythms and melodies, and out of it they made a new passionate poetry with rhymes, ironic rhymes like, when you see me laughing, I'm laughing to keep from crying. And when you think I'm loving you, I'm leaving you all the time. It was a verse that was suited to the life of wandering people. It spoke of partings, of oppression, of heartbreak, and most of all, of homelessness. And it said, I'm a poor boy and a long way from home. This old blues of the wandering laborer takes us deep into the hills east of the Delta. Just as the Southern Appalachians preserved the Old English ballad, so the Mississippi Hill Country sheltered a fantastic African music that fed the blues. We're in the courthouse square of Lexington, Mississippi, where a young bluesman, Lonnie Pitchford, is showing off his one-string electrified guitar. A new invention, he thinks, but actually very close in effect to this one this West African is playing. Here's Lonnie again with another similar instrument. And true to African tradition, surrounded by admiring dancers. This musical bow, here played by two African Bushman boys, is the oldest of these one-stringers.
So I place the nail.
Lonnie takes a nail and a broom wire and makes the one-stringer that Mississippians call the diddley bow,
And wrap it around.
which they can string up in just a few minutes anywhere.
Can nail us in. Tight. When you tune it, it pulls it down. Like so. I don't know if you can hear it too plain, but this is actually tuning it. Those actually the songs I would play when I was a kid.
He's picking out that old children's song, Frog Went A-Courtin'. Now here's a diddley bow that sounds like a hot combo because the right and the left hands play two really different parts.
Go, wake up in the morning. Sound in my back door. Lord, woke up in the morning, baby. Sound in my back door.
They make comments on the melody. The blues becomes a conversation between the blues man and his instrument. And turning to the guitar with a bottleneck on his little finger, Roosevelt plays melody and rhythm with both hands.
Sometimes I get the blues. Girl, turn my house, I know. Turn it out. Nobody stand on someone. Bring no time.
His slide gets the guitar to sing the blues. Talk back to me, he says.
Now, when I first started to making them things. All right, show you. Well, I turned my finger like this. Now that's wet. Then I took my knife and swung it out like this. Swung it out. Then I got my finger like this. Then I took the knife and swung it.
It's the magic of tradition that guides Roosevelt as he brings an African scale out of this piece of Mississippi cane. All through the North Mississippi countryside, the fife and drum bands call the folks to summer picnics, looking like the spirit of '76 Afro-American style. Thomas Jefferson's valet organized a band like this in revolutionary times. And always the musicians are surrounded by dancers and improvise with them, as they do here in Mississippi and here in Africa. Later that night, the Mississippi picnic looked even more African as the dancers paid homage to the earth and then saluted the drums. You're looking at the taproot of American jazz and rock and the blues. For yes, the blues too has always been dance music. But unlike the happy dance music of the Old South, the blues tends to be solo and melancholy. It was the song of the individual caught between poverty and prejudice. And you hear the first notes of the blues in the work songs he sang.
All right, baby. Early in the morning, coming back home. Ain't gonna call me, I'll be gone. Down in the bottom of the water ride. Anything, baby, I'll be satisfied. Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
Generations of steel-muscled black axemen hacked away at the endless forest of the Delta, bringing daylight into the river bottoms and opening up the richest land in the world for cultivation. Land suitable for vast cotton plantations, where agriculture became a big impersonal business that grew richer and richer at the expense of hired black labor.
Well, here we come. Way back down, or you wait for your crew. Way back down.
Does it pay you any money at all?
Or pay 50 cents a day, 40 cents a day. 35, I pick cotton, 35 cents 100. Pick cotton, chop cotton from sun to sun, 2 bits and 40 cents. My dad let us 1900, let us chop cotton on a Saturday evening, start at 1 o'clock and chop the sun down for 20 cents.
As one old bluesman told me, it'd take a man that have the blues to sing the blues.
Why you see last night? Yeah, will you please tell me.
At the bottom of the system, the debt-laden black farmer somehow recalled the wailing complaints of his ancestors under African kings.
Yeah, mama told me, way back where I was born. We're gonna be a fight dog, Tony. Oh, gonna be a rolling stone. Oh!
Let's write my pieces right on the cotton field.
Yeah.
Climb. Cotton field. I ain't learned nothing in no town. I ain't been to town hardly.
You know what town was it?
No.
Sure.
So I learned all my blues in the country. Right here. Out in the country.
In the field.
Field, we're picking the cotton.
Cotton field, picking cotton,
Pine,
either horn. Don't make no
picking peas,
difference.
all that
Something
cotton
like
mess.
that.
That's what we learned, that's mess at.
Mm.
That's the reason you can't, don't know no other pieces.
Well, we learned something.
Have you been a farmer all your life?
All my life. Been farming out here all my days. Ain't never done nothing
Fly
but
mule in
farm.
the daytime, pick guitar at night.
That's right. That's all I do, nothing but a farmer.
Yeah.
daddies and things was a farmer. That's all I know. Raised chicken and a few hogs and something to eat around here. Farm out down the field. That's all they ever know. That's all they ever know. What hard time everywhere. Where I go, Lord, hard time, baby girl, drive me to the door. Hard time, baby girl, drive me to the door. Door to door, drive me to the door. Hard time, drive me to the door. Till you drag. Stay right your baby girl till you drag me down. Drag me down till you drag. Stay right here till you drag. Drive it go. Hard time, baby girl, drive it go. Hard time, drive it go. Hard time, baby girl, drive it go.
And so the blues were born. Field hollers floating over solid syncopated dance rhythms. Songs that voiced unspoken anger. The powerful, bitter poetry of a hard-pressed people.
I started to feel when I was 8 years old. I used to cry to go to make a day. And my mother, she didn't want me to go. So it was an old white man, wasn't staying too far from us. All of them was be in the field but me. And he asked us what I was crying. I told him I was crying because I wanted to go make a day like the rest of them. They started me off at $1 a day. I was getting just what they was getting. From that on, I come all the way through. I clean up new ground. I cut down trees. I cut wood. I can cultivate. I can plow. I can eat and sweep. And then I can plant. I done did all that all the way through in my life and days. I worked 12 years. That's me and my girls. Farmed 12 years. Didn't have no men help at all. And I made it.
When a woman blue, she hangs her little head and cries. But when a man gets blue, he grabs that train and rides. The men were off for more money and an adventure in the work camps along the railroads and the levees. And for the roustabouts, there was a life of high adventure and violence along the river. Big boat up the river turning round and round. A big boat up the river turning round and round. A big boat up the river turning round and round. Struck deep water and she dropped on down. Dropped on down, baby. Dropped on down. Well, she struck deep water and she dropped on down.
Come here, dog, and let's get your bone. Tell me what shoulder that you wanted on.
These old-time roustabouts had such fond memories of river life that they fixed up a rig to show us how the work was done and the songs were sung.
Tell me, gal, what you been waiting on. I've been away from home too long. I'm thinking he had it on one end, and I had it on the other, going down the gangplank, going over the water.
But, and we get out there and we stagger like that, you know, like we going forward with it, and just keep on rocking. I worked on the Tennessee Belle, the Kate. When she used to get long yonder, she would make that blow. And that levee there would be lined with women meeting.
What would the blow be?
Woo, 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 woo. You know what she be saying,
What would happen then?
Huh?
What would happen then?
You would see women come from everywhere.
What did they come out there? What would
Meeting the men.
Walter Brown, an old-timer along the river, was our guide to the world of the river people. He explained their domestic economy something like this. A woman would have her regular man, maybe her husband, on a river job, and he'd come home every once in a while, and then her temporary man would have to leave the house while a regular man was there. Then when the regular man left, the temporary man would move back in. And that's the subject of many blues. Did you guys on the boat know about those bands?
No.
No, there is nobody.
No, they didn't know about it. I caught one at my house one time. Huh? I left him right there. Him and her. I just got my clothes and left them there. Well, if I can't come in, let me sit down for your door. Lord, all these so easy, baby girl, your good man never know.
In the competition for women and a place to stay, the blues man with his music had a decisive advantage. As one of them told me, I got a home everywhere I go.
If I see the woman that I wanted, and she just absolutely, her husband couldn't carry her home, I pick that guitar hard. I play guitar hard and sing hard. And I've had women come and kiss me, and I didn't ask me, could they kiss me right then. They grabbed me and kissed me. I said, tell me now, sweet mama, gal, how you want your rolling down? Tell me, sweet mama, gal, how you want your rolling down? She said, slow and easy like my old time rider done. Roll my belly, mama, roll it like you roll my dough. Want you to roll my belly, girl, like you roll my dough. I want you to roll me, sweet mama, till I tell you I don't want no more.
And so the blues man appealed for feminine sympathy and a place to hang his hat. The favorite subject of the blues, however, was the troubled relationship between men and women in a disturbed society. And years before the rest of the world, the people of the Delta tasted the bittersweet of modern alienation, so that the blues of those days ring true for all of us now.
You could go, oh, don't come back to sound no more.
Woman, it's your last time shaking it in the bed with me. Says I told you to your face, I had another good girl to shake me in your place. Baby, it's your last time shaking it in the bed with me. Well, you kicked all my kibble off the bed on the floor. You better be glad, Sandfoot, you ain't gonna get to kick it no more. Now you wear your mini skirts way above your knees. Now you can shake your jelly with other man you please. I told you you could go. Hey, don't come back to Sam no more. Woman, it's your last time shaking it, I mean twisting, doing that monkey dog and that slop in the bed with me. Oh, go, baby. I said, well, the blues is about a woman. If you have the blues about a woman, your wife, or anybody, and they misuse you, you go along and make up a song to sing. Instead of telling her in words, you will sing that song. So when you be singing that song, you have your mind direct on how she done treated you. I went down to that river. Oh, thought I'd jump and drown. I thought about the woman I was loving, for as I turned around. I went down to that depot. I asked the man how long the train been gone. He says, been gone long enough for your woman to be at home.
The railroad was another escape route away from the plantation system. It also brought jobs with a new sense of competence and higher pay and a new flowering of rhythmic work songs.
All right, now, up on the rail, up on the top, on the rail, way down, Lord. Up on the rail, way down, Lord. On the rail, up on the
Talk about singing on the railroad is just like a band on a football field. When that band gives the team spirit to play, and that singing gives you pepped away.
Well, the old lady says she come to die, put a hand on the hip and one on the thigh. Good Lord, have mercy. Good Lord, have mercy. Good Lord, have mercy. All right, quarterback. All right, just a little bit, just a hair, just a little bit, right there. Just a little bit, just a hair, just a little bit, right there. All righty, Jack the Rabbit.
It was good enough for me to put 5 kids through high school and college, too. Because it was tough, but I made it.
Give it to him in the center.
What did the hen that said to the drake? No more crawfish in this lake. Just dive of sight, dive of sight, dive of sight, dive, dive.
All right, gonna get it? Move ahead a little bit.
Move ahead there, one eye. How about that? How loud, Joey?
All right. Jack the Rabbit, Jack the Bear. Just a little bit, just a hair. Just... I'm going down to that railroad, lay my head on that railroad strike. I'm gonna think about the woman I'm loving. Man, I'm gonna snatch it back.
This blues grew up in the shadow of the levee on which we're riding. This great earthwork, thrown up to hold back the river in times of flood, higher and longer than the Great Wall of China, was piled up by generations of black mule skinners. In the days when levee camp life outdid the Wild West in careless violence, these men yonder walked the levee, living the blues. Walter Brown, Joe Savage, William S. Hart, Bill Gordon. They're meeting us at an old river towboat to take us back to a little-known moment in American history when black mule skinners, in the manner of their African forebears, spurred on their mule teams with songs. Songs that sometimes caused the mules to literally work themselves to death. These levee haulers are the direct ancestors of the blues.
Well, my whip mule crippled and my lead mule blind. Lord, I want need somebody. I can shake a line.
How many people would be singing at one time? Would everybody?
Oh, everybody and everybody. You couldn't hear your ears. And some of them could sing so good till the mules would go to holler. They just holler, ah, 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 like it was 12 o'clock or something. I get out and get on got my team then. I get way back on them line, you know. Two great big old mule, face stops all on them. They head up in there like that. And with them honeys on them, they're waiting, tassels hanging all down the side of them. Just taking the time, walking. Just walking and walking. I'm gonna be late in the morning. I'm gonna be late all day. I'm gonna be late all day. I'm gonna be late all day. Hey, I'm gonna be late all day with old Freddie Mae. Them be some kind of stepping. Just step with me. They're pulling me up the levee. They're pulling me up the levee. I'm just right back on the line. Oh, everybody.
The work season was short. The dirt had to move. Mules died by the hundreds. And as one levee engineer remarked, you could smell those tent cities a mile away, and there was a buzzard on every fence post.
You know, people that's been here a few years, I guess that's why God didn't kill them all. He left somebody here to tell the story.
It'd be so cold out there, it wouldn't let you go to the fire. You'd have to let your line slip through your hands.
I don't understand. Tell me how that was exactly.
Like your wheel would be going along, you have two mules to it. Yeah. And the mule would be going along, and you'd walk along and get up to the fire.
What was the fire doing there?
The fire, that they had the fire built for you to warm going by. You couldn't stop at it. Your wheeler couldn't stop, but you could let the mules keep it going and let the line slide through your hand until it gets to the end, then you got to catch them. You could never just say, stop at the fire and warm.
What would they do to you?
They'd cut your head. Beat it with the pistol or stick or something.
They'd ride right in the middle of the pit. Yeah. And old man Brown used to take his hat off, his head. He wore a big white stuff, red big. And he'd throw it up and he'd shoot 6 holes in it before it hit the ground. Then he'd tell somebody down there, hand me my hat. And they would hand it to me. He said, now listen, I'm gonna whoop you if you stand, and I'm gonna shoot you, I'm gonna kill you if you run. I want y'all to do so and so and so. I want you to get me some date. I got to finish Signature Station by Signature time. And is any question? When he asked you that, he'd have his hand on that pistol. Kill a nigga, hide nothing. Kill a mule, buy another one.
Yeah. Plenty mornings, you'd have to wait until it get light enough to go to work.
That's right.
You be standing there in the dark. Then when it get light enough, then you go to work. Then you work in the evening until it get out of work. You couldn't see how to come in.
You wasn't locked up. But other than that, it was just like the penitentiary. They paid you what they wanted. They gave you what they wanted you to have. If you didn't do it, somebody was going to beat you up.
Now, why did you men go into those places? That's what we don't understand.
They didn't know no better.
You couldn't do no better. You couldn't do no better. You was trying to leave their farm for 50 and 75 cents a day and go someplace where you could earn a little bit more money. But when you get in those places, well, then you would earn their money, but you didn't get paid for it.
Yeah, you'd get out there and they would, they say they're going to give you $15 a week. That's $2.50 a day. And payday, he may pay y'all, and then he may not pay y'all. He's work you out there sometimes 2 and 3 months and just give you a drag, like $10 or $15 something to gamble around in the camp with.
With a alligator payday, and say to give a drag.
Sad as day.
Well, no different in that money that the two men had.
Burn that white made born. Kill it old gray mule. Burn that white made born. I didn't mean no trouble. I didn't mean no harm. I want you to love me or leave me, girl. Anything you want to do.
Some of the men from the levee have, like many itinerant Delta workers, served time in jail and in the state pen at Parchman. They brought us out into the Mississippi River bottoms to show us what it was like in the state penitentiary in the bad old days when they were driven all day in the fields under the gun, and it was only their bluesy songs and the strength of working and singing together that kept their hearts alive under the Mississippi sun.
Lord, yeah. Rosie, Lord, yeah.
They call on little Rosie, the woman of their midnight dreams, as if she was actually present, listening to them.
And I wonder, do you hear? Rosie, oh Lord, yeah. Rosie, oh Lord, yeah. Go ahead and marry, don't you wait on me. Long hold over and I can't go free. Rosie, oh Lord, yeah. Look on your finger, darling, think of me. Ring I brought you when I was free. Rosie, Lord, yeah. Rosie, Lord, yeah. a big leg draws. Got me when he striped it over. Oh, Lordy. Oh, got me wet. Stripe it over. Jump in the bushes. Make 'em break my leg. Get the food out with my woman. I'll kill you dead. Kill you dead. Kill you dead.
Now, it was 7 of us broke jail together. We broke this county jail, and they caught me. They caught me 5.5 years later. And
That's the way you was there when they got
used the bat in Parchment when you were there?
Who?
Did they still whip the prisoners when you
They whooped it with big wide strops. They whooped it with big wide strops.
What was it? How often how many blows did they give?
How many blows they give? Just many that you could stand. They whoop you just. I got 2 whoopings while I was there. They didn't whoop no clothes. They whooped their naked butt. They had 2 men to hold you.
4.
Minutes and minutes they need.
2 on your legs and 2 on your arms.
Yeah.
Did they ever injure anybody that way?
Who?
Oh, yeah.
Kill them.
They kill them like that.
Kill them like that.
They killed them like that.
Got me cute, the thieving. I can't see a thing. They got me cute, the faulty, and I can't even write my name. Bad luck. Bad luck is killing me. What I just can't stand no more this the degree. Now look at here, boy. I want to tell you something. They got me accused of taxes, and I don't have another dime. They got me accused of children, and ain't now one of them mine. Bad love. Bad luck is killing me. Was I just can't stand no more this bloody grief. I'm gone, so baby, so long.
In the land of the blues, the only place to take your hurt was the church. The old minister stirs his congregation to raise a great tide of sorrowful singing. Like Joe Savage, they all know the bitterness that underlies the blues. The old deacon now calls them to give their burdens to the Lord and to help bring the sinners, the lost ones sitting there on the mourner's bench, back into the community through the ritual of conversion. Now the congregation waits for the preacher to voice their righteous anger.
Do you not know tonight one thing I like about God? He's so just tonight. God is a just God. God is so just tonight. Kennedy got to stand before God. I said the Rockefellers got to stand before God. And that day your money can't buy you nothing. No matter how much money you got, that can't buy it with God. But look what God said. God said you just a steward, and he lended it to you for a few days. Amen, it's not yours. I remember one Friday morning out there on Calvary. They tell me that they hung the S-O-N on the cross. And tell me that the S-U-N peeped up and looked at the S-O-N and said that the S-U-N told the S-O-N two suns can't shine together. Yes, it did. That would be going to hurt me tonight. Amen, Barney, if the reason that the sun, amen, the reason that the sun don't blind his eyes, because he is the sun's creator tonight. Look at my God, Barney, look at my big old God tonight. That stepped out that morning and spoke a blooming universe into existence. So I can need no hammer, no nail. So I can need no pliers or no screwdriver. So I can need no seeing into the polar foundation. Let there be. Oh, when God comes back, he's gonna throw away the straw of pity. He's gonna take away the leaves of compassion. He's gonna take away, I said, the feathers of his mercy. There ain't gonna be nothing left in the nest but the fires of indignation. There ain't nothing gonna be left in the nest but the sharp stick of his mighty wrath. Oh, have mercy tonight. Let me close here, Barry. I said, God will stir you up tonight. I said, he'll stir you up. I said, stir me up one day. He can stir you up. I said, can he stir you up? Yeah. If you know it, say yes tonight. Yes. 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 If I knew I'd come tonight, I said, I'm trying tonight.
The whole church is rejoicing in the certain doom of the wicked. And the poor old sinner looks around like a frightened animal. The preacher looms over him, the congregation is shouting at his back, and the minister holds out his hand and summons him to come through and join the church. The new convert rises and crosses to the altar, and the sisters get happy because the wickedest man in the county has been saved.
My grandmama, I don't care what school I finished, I'm gonna do the same thing. Amen. Amen.
We've seen Reverend Smith, spurred on by the responses of the members, improvise an epic oration. He urges them not to give up this African style of collective creation. And we've seen that at work in the dances, in the work songs, even in the conversation that the bluesman has with his guitar. In the secular world, one finds other masters of language and of wit among the poets of the streets who recite fanciful verses called toasts in the places where the people gather to have their good times.
Lady boy, but the man gonna drink it up. Ladies and gentlemen, children and children,
Foul-eyed mosquitoes and bow-legged leopard. Pull up a seat or even sat on the floor. I tell you a story you never heard before. It was the middle of the day, darn near the break of night. Two dead boys got in a fight. Back to back, they faced one another, pulled out a flashlight and shot each other. Then the deaf police heard the noise, pulled out a flashlight and shot the poor boy. But if y'all think my story not true, why ask the blind man, he saw it too.
The extravagant language and the rapid-fire delivery of the toasts is more in tune with the assertive mood of the modern Delta than the older blues. Moreover, the main theme of the toasts is black pride.
December 7, 41.
Yeah.
That's when the Second World War had just begun.
Yeah.
The Tammy Mussolini was holding out his paw and trying to get the European countries under Hitler's law.
Oh,
Old Japan with the hush it by and she wouldn't fight on either side. She was a nation that would argue. You know what she did, turned it around and bummed Pearl Harbor. I don't know, but I was told that's the way Pearl Harbor base got stolen. But you know where we come in at? Negro soldiers standing at attention, they were the poor boys never to mention.
yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you about the colored man. December 7, 41, that's when the Yanks taught him how to man the gun. He stepped on deck and it got dead aim. He brought a Japanese bomber down in flames.
Yeah.
Some got wounded and some got killed, but naturally we know. God's holy Bible got the full field. I found out later, though, the rational and rubber stores gasoline. I had to get my blackhead in the Philippines. That's where I was at the time. What'd you say you didn't know? I was in the Philippines.
The audience now calls for their favorite toast, the tale of the signifying monkey defeating the domineering lion. Another triumph of brain over brawn. The story of a rabbit all over again.
Well, back in the jungle in the wood deep, the bad lion stepped on the signified monkey feet. The monkey said, look, lion, can't you see why you standing yourself on my goddamn fat joke? So the lion said, ain't here a goddamn wood you see it.
Yeah.
But you said 2 more I be stepping on your goddamn head. Well, every day before the sun go down, the lion will kick his butt all through the jungle town.
Yeah.
But the monkey got wise and started using a little his whip. He said, I'm gonna put a stop to that old rock kicking stuff. So he ran up on the elephant the very next day and said, God doggone partner, there's a big bad fella.
Now Monkey begins to signify, to use his gift for words, to stir up trouble between the lion and the elephant, and to get the lion into a fight he can't possibly win.
So the lion jumped up in a bad race, like a young gangster, full of game. He let out with a roar. His tail shot back like a 44. He went out through the jungle, knocking down trees, kicking to the rail till he fell out to the knee. So he ran up on the elephant, talking to the swine. Said, all right, you big bad joke, gonna be yours or mine. So the elephant looked out at the lion with the corner of his eye and said, go ahead on, you little funny bunny mama, and go on pick on somebody your own side. So the lion jumped up, made a fancy pass. The elephant sidestepped and kicked him dead in the grass. It messed up his neck, messed up his face, broke all 4 legs, snatched his you-know-what out of place. He picked him up and slammed him to the tree. Nothing but that stuff as far as you can see. So he drug his butt back to the jungle more dead and alive. Just to run to that monkey with some more of his singing-fied jive.
These honky-tonk folks probably never read Shelley or Shakespeare, but they love poetry. And true to black tradition, they're always experimenting with sound and movement. Out of their language play came reggae and rap. Out of their Saturday night dances came the sad songs that make you laugh.
I want you to love me or leave me.
Came the haunting tunes that once heard can never be forgotten.
I want you to love me or leave me. Anything you wanna do.
Came the big river of the blues that still flows strongly in the Mississippi Delta, the land where the blues began.
Well, a strange thing happened. Someday it might happen to you. little brown-skinned woman, doubled in her jaw. If you ever had the blues, no matter how I feel, if you ever had the blues, no matter how I feel. Feel just like a Indian, ain't got no driving wheel.
First down on the Spartan side of the field. Right side of your screen, right there. Percy Snow hitting back and then pushing. That's Robinson, number 71. He's got a little bit shoving, and it's always the guy that retaliates. Robinson may have pushed him a little late, but everybody saw Snow swing back at him. So that puts the football first down at the Michigan State 37. This is the furthermost point Hawaii has had on the Michigan State side of the field, and the quarterback, Gabriel, takes the handoff to Farmer and falls down as he lost his footing coming off the handoff. And there's a loss on the play. The ball comes back a yard. The 4 lost fumbles by Hawaii ties an Aloha Bowl record, the one that the Washington Huskies had the Big War in 1982. And the interception, if there is another, the interception record is 2, so if there's another anymore. Second down and 12. Gabriel goes hard, gets Roscoe. And Roscoe coming back to the ball, almost gave up the first down. No, they don't. You don't give it up there, Chris, where you first caught it. He was coming back toward the quarterback, and he may or may not have his first down. There's Roscoe here in motion. He's just going to go down and curl to the inside. The inside receiver is going to come to the outside, and the throw will go here to the inside man. Roscoe at the bottom of your screen. This is well-designed zone. Just trying to get in between the short linebackers. He kind of fell back toward the original line of scrimmage. May have cost him. Now he got about half the ball. Roscoe has caught 4 passes, 46 yards. And the ball is now at Michigan State's 27, first down, Hawaii. You know that Bob Wagner had to really be upset with the way his team played in the first half. I just told him to come out, play the way they're capable of playing, the way they play all year, and see what happens. Farmer can't get much room, maybe a yard, and that's about all. Percy Snow involved in the defensive play here. Talking to Percy before the game, I asked him about the option and the spread type of offensive formation they'd be looking at, and what trouble it might cause, and he put it this way. We haven't seen one particular team running, but, playing against high-powered teams like Miami or Florida, which are, they're a good passing team, and Notre Dame probably the best option team in the country. So, just playing against Hawaii, we just have to prepare so, to face both, the option and the pass. It's just one of those times. Gabriel started to run with the ball and then realized that Roscoe had broken loose, was coming back toward him, and he let Chris have it. Otherwise, he probably, the quarterback, could have run for the first down. Well, Gabriel is starting to settle down with, I think, the entire offensive unit is settling down and moving the football. Michigan State 11, first down goes. Gabriel kept it, and is taken down behind the line of scrimmage by Travis Davis. And there is a stellar performer on the defensive front for Michigan State, whose name I've not called today. Travis, highly regarded, 275-pounder from Warren, Ohio. And he leaves the field. Hunter replaces him. It's second down, 11. Ball coming back after that yard loss to the 12, and Gabriel checking off. Straight run, quick throw, touchdown, Roscoe! You say he was checking off, Keith. The Kelsey quarterback, he wants this man here, he's checking off, but he wants this man to run a slant. Normally, the safety here is lined up back here, but he moves up here to cover him, and that's what he saw, and this is why he checked. To the receiver at the left side of your screen to run a slant. He saw nobody in the middle of the field, and made the check. Good call. Jason Elam from Snellville, Georgia for the extra point, and he hits it right into the crowd. Grabbed by a Michigan State man, ball is rolling around on the field, and finally it goes down all the way back on the Hawaii 48-yard line. Jason Elam, I don't know if he's hurt or not. Now, they didn't say anything about him being injured. He came to Hawaii as a result of somebody said Paul Johnson seeing him in a kicking camp. He's had very good 2 years here before the ball game. Practically every other kick was like that, really down low, and that one went right into the back of the offensive blockers. If you look at it from behind the defense, I mean, that thing there was no height on it whatsoever. No chance at all. We were watching him before the game, and he just wasn't kicking off. So his kicking mechanics right now are out of whack for some reason. Anyway, Hawaii is off the board, finally. Today, more people than ever are getting a kick out of this hot shot. Interstate batteries hit the road fast with all the cranking power and reserve energy you need for even the worst trades in the weather. And Interstate has twice as many dealers than any other battery company in America, so you're never left stranded. For Interstate battery dealer near you, and Khan will kick off. Realize Hawaii hasn't punted all day. There's a little chip shot over the head of the Michigan State man out of bounds, and they were trying there for the onside kick, I guess. Yes, looks that would obviously be what you would think they were trying to do. He just kicked it too far. Go back to that touchdown, and Roscoe runs slant. Donaldson, number 25, should not get him the inside. He should be on the inside technique, they call it. There's a reaction of the quarterback. He's had a tough day, but Gabriel finally gets one in there. Well, I would say that Bob Wagner's going to go home tonight and kick it over and say, I know it. Turnovers in the kicking game, because that's exactly what he said would be the big difference. No question, and we talked to him, and the kids have to be nervous coming in. It's the first bowl game ever. You know, they've been trying to get in a bowl game finally. They're in one, playing home, and sometimes that puts more pressure on you playing home than it does if you're playing on the road. Michigan State obviously had an option there, so whether or not to take the ball or at the point where it went out of bounds, or let him penalize Hawaii 5 yards. Well, the ball was kicked out of bounds at the 38, so they took it there, and Blake Easor couldn't find any running room as the Rainbows swarmed him. So it is second down and 10. Lee Powell's on the 13. Big defensive series for Hawaii. Enos is sacked behind the line of scrimmage. Mike Pressler was the first man, Delmar Johnson was the second one. Two of the smallest men on the field, Pressler and Johnson, are the men that caused the problem that time for the Spartans. You know, in the first half, Keith, we've been talking about the size of David versus Goliath, Silverman and Starling. The physical strength of Michigan State destroyed the finesse, the options of the Rainbows. The Rainbows hoped that the second half would be more their way. Third and 15, penalty flags down, deep pass downfield, Bradley's there, incomplete. But there's a penalty flag, remember that it may be an offside against Hawaii. Dead ball, false start. Nope. Somebody moved on the offensive side, and the Rainbow was in his rights and taken off a little early. Well, this is the first sellout that the Aloha boys had, 50,000, and I think Michigan State said they brought about 2,000 people over, so the rest of them, if the Rainbows can get this something going, this stadium will be on their side, the crowd will be behind them, no question. Well, they're marking off 5 yards. Well, dead ball foul before he snapped the ball. Yeah. Otherwise, they refuse it and bring up fourth down, so it's dead ball foul and makes it now third down and 20. Let me go right back to that same fly pattern because it's just about as good as the punt, even if it's intercept. Ball just inside the 47 of Hawaii now, with Michigan State possessing it. And second down and 5 coming up. He's right. First down and then some. Marking out just short of the 30. And another Michigan State first down. Next Monday, New Year's Day, ABC Sports kicks off 1990 with 3 college football bowl games. Starting at 1:30 Eastern, Illinois and Virginia in the Florida Citrus Bowl. Then the Michigan Wolverines, Ocean Breakfast final game, against Southern California in the Rose Bowl. And finally, the USF&G Sugar Bowl, with second-ranked Miami against SEC co-champion Alabama. That's New Year's Day on ABC Sports. This is Hiram Hickson, number 30, in the ball game. That's his second play of the game, the junior from Fort Lauderdale. And the Spartans right now, running left-handed, are starting to make it look easy, aren't they? Well, they're running to their left, which is over Bob Kula and Eric Moulton, the two big offensive linemen. Hickson, as you see, goes off. He went to the same high school in Fort Lauderdale as Lorenzo White, who went to Dillard High School down in South Florida. Lorenzo White, a pretty good halfback at Michigan State this time. Not bad. Second down, a yard and a half. Duckett, Montgomery line up down the eye. This is Duckett. Pretty good lick there. And looks like he's probably short of the first down. This will bring up third and short. It was Joaquin Barnett, junior from Carson, California. Michigan State offensively, where they rank in the Big Ten. Like to run the football first and throw it second. Most teams do. Chains on. That much. Now, there are a lot of people of Hawaiian heritage who wound up going down. Billy Murray was the one who started it. And Bucky Dory certainly implemented it. A lot of Hawaiians with it. Michigan State former governor George Ariosa also. This is Enos, another Easor, up the middle. Enos and Easor. And right now goes over 100 yards. He has 27 carries. He has 102 yards. And 2 touchdowns. It is first down for Michigan State at the Hawaii 18. Easor, good move, but runs into traffic and will come away with about a yard on that carry. This area of the field, Keith, is where a defense like Hawaii's, who likes to gamble and blitz anyway, really gets unpredictable. As you see, a snap, I believe, 96, coming off, it's like a stinger, he's riding on. But this is where the defense really gets unpredictable and dangerous. Offensively, you got to be careful what you call. You know, when anybody's free coming in and sacking the quarterback and knocking the ball out of the running back's hand. But it can really get dangerous down this area of the field. Really, they just have nothing to lose. They just cut loose and come after it. Michael Colson is outside now at the quarterback position, and he's guarding Courtney Hawkins. And Hawkins has been pretty quiet. They go the other way with it. And the pass is complete for what appears to be another first down. It's Dwayne Young, the tight end, finally getting a chance to catch a ball. The junior from Kalamazoo. He wears number 29, which is an unusual number for a tight end. There's a tight end Young here, and the strong safety is right here. The strong safety comes, and Young is just going to slide out in between. See, oh, I should have covered him over Brooks. Now Briggs, the free safety, has to come over and make the play. And Briggs weighs 190, Young weighs 255. So they got the mismatch they wanted. Rando game. I guess they stuck Lewis up. He's back in the fray. Number 51 is Randall. Good to see him back in there. 7-yard line now. Second down and goal for Michigan State. You know, this is the third time they've been inside the 10-yard line with a first down, first and goal, and they have intercept and field goal. Enos, back at the 15, still standing, throws it, he's hard dropped it. Are they going to call him down? Yeah, throw it right. I don't think that was a forward pass. Again, the aggressive blitzing defense. It was Randall in there, number 51. The outside, strong safety was blitzing. You know, you cannot throw many play-action passes down here. You can't turn your back because you don't know who's going to be coming from where. Number 3, Michael Colson, started walking back to the huddle and then went down on one knee. I don't know whether he's hurt, whether he's exhausted, but he hadn't stopped. Just went down on a knee, and the officials spotted him, and he leaves the game. I think he may be a little exhausted. He's been running a lot because Hawkins is on that side with him, and Hawkins is obviously running on every play. He's been pretty collapsed, so apparently Colson's been doing a pretty good job. Third down and goal, and they are now back at the 16. And Enos down the middle, it is intercepted to the right turn. This is Walter Briggs, and caught from behind. Some of the clock goes down. That's the 26. Probably a push in the back of a clip. You got a Michigan State man down on the field. That's Big Eric Moulton is down. Ankle or knee? It looks like it might be ankle. Philly is walking below the waist on the return team. Hawaii's football first and 10. Philly is enforced half the distance to the goal line. First and 10. Walking below the waist on the return. Obviously what caused the injury to Moulton. Here's the last play. He's trying to get the ball to Hawkins down here, but the free safety right here is Briggs just going to go over and make the play. Briggs, number 4, was the most valuable player for this Rainbow team this year. Picked off 9 passes. Second-team All-American, was a former quarterback, and is looking to really break this thing big. Well, Enos had waited a little bit. He might have had Hawkins free because Courtney had broken outside, but he threw it inside, and the result was the interception. Now, for a limited time, get a guaranteed rebate at your Jeep and Eagle dealer. If the rebate increases on your eligible vehicle after January 31st, you'll get a check for the difference. No other car company has ever done that. The guaranteed rebate from the Chrysler Corporation. See your Jeep and Eagle dealer now. Offer ends soon. Tonight, some business owners are closing shop with a little more peace of mind. Because helping to protect their property, their products, their people is an independent insurance agent who compared the options and recommended Kemper, the company that's been coming through for more than 75 years. Kemper Insurance, because you've worked too hard today to have to worry about tomorrow. Monday. MacGyver's not an assassin. He's praying for murder and stalked by the real killer. I need your help. MacGyver. Monday. Yes, the sun is out. But it is warm. Even for lucky. Rainbows now trying to effect the comeback. Trailing 19-6, they own the football just outside their own 10 after the penalty, or blocking below the red after the interception. Gabriel back. Gotta get rid of it. Down he goes, right about the goal line. It is not a 2. Not a safety. He is outside at about a yard and a half from the goal line as Big Bobby Wilson got a hold of him, and Wilson at 280 pounds, you know he's going to win this. Bobby Wilson, just a junior, has 3 sacks on the season. This is his 4th. He will be the guy in that defensive line next year. Furrow says that losing his 4 starters, that Bobby Wilson is going to be a star. He's so wide right there. Loss of 9 yards. Second down and 19 on the 2. Out of the end zone, Gabriel. Gotta hurry up. Gets it off. Short. Catch made by Derek Branch from Dallas, Texas. Falling back inside the 10. Gabriel's got to realize that this Michigan State defense is not going to give up anything cheap. They have led the Big Ten in run defense the last 4 years. They've been the toughest team to score on in the Big Ten the last 3. And they've missed by 1 yard this year, being the total defensive leader for a 4th straight year. So they've dominated the Big Ten defensively. Third down and 12. Gabriel's pass is short hop, I thought. Oh. It looked to me like it was short hop, but the umpire, who would have had the best shot of it, was still looking at the defensive offensive line. Not for sure, but it looked like he did get his hands on it. Whether it went all the way past his hands, but doesn't matter. We'll have to same to catch. First down at the 24 for Hawaii. Rainbows have a little room now. They out again with Farmer in the middle, and there's nothing there for Jamal. I would think they must have some plays in the book in which he catches the ball. And at 225 pounds, he could get out there one-on-one and cause a little damage. Well, they've tried a couple of small screen passes to him and ducks, but they've been well defended. That was a big stat right there. 8 rushes for 18 yards. He came in with a 5.0 average and over 1,000 yards in the season. Second down and 8. Can't hold it. That's called thundering the hooves of Percy Snow. It's called footsteps, isn't it? Yep. Snow is there's Percy dropping back. It's a well-designed play. Percy was probably yelling or growling or something, said I'm coming, but Snow is the first player. We mentioned earlier, he won the Buckus and the Lombardi Awards this year. He's the first collegiate player ever to win both awards. Gabriel had hit 6 passes in a row before that. It is now 3rd and long. 3rd down and 8. All they have to do is catch that when they have the first down. They've got it now. As it's hauled in by Leonard Lau. Well, Hawaii's trying to put a little more back in the white shirt again, aren't they? That'll be first down, Rainbows at their own 48. 19-6. Michigan State, we're coming to the close of the 3rd quarter. Gets away from the pressure, gets his pass off, deflected, intercepted. Intercepted by Accanello, his 2nd interception of the day. And that's 7 Hawaii turnovers. 7. Anytime a ball is tipped down the middle of the field, only bad things can happen for the offense. Good pressure coming on Gabriel from the right side, forces him to step up in the pocket, then he's all out of the whack. He throws the ball wobbling and tipped. Aquinello, former All-State quarterback, knows what to do with it. It's his 2nd interception, as you mentioned. no preset limits. Automatic protection for everything you buy. Access to cash when you're far from home. American Express is always there to provide our best personal service to every card member, around the corner or around the world. Membership has its privileges. More police cars come on Goodyear Eagle radios than any other brand of tires. Why? Because they want it that way. Goodyear Eagles. There really is a difference. In 13 cities and 10 countries across the Pacific, they're playing our song. United Airlines Royal Pacific Service. We dedicated to giving you the service you deserve halfway around the world. Come fly the friendly skies. All right, the Rainbow defense. Gotta come out here one more time. Eric Moten has sprained an ankle. May not come back, we're told, so he's not gonna be in there. And Chris Sunderland. What's his name? This is Ezor. And Ezor dragged down just about the line of scrimmage. And a penalty flag. We've had a few of those today, haven't we? Almost as many flags as the Turtles. That's a hold against the Spartans. You know what that tells me? Getting tired. There you go. Getting tired. It's a little warm out there, and obviously from the artificial turf, it's going to be a little warmer. One interesting thing, Hawaii plays their games at night, so they're a little bit probably uncomfortable playing on this artificial turf during the day. So all the players that are just down the field with towels over their hair over on the sideline. Yeah, I don't care if you do live here. You're not immune to it, are you? Yeah. This is my third Aloha Bowl, and I've yet to see any rain during the ball game. I don't remember anyway. I guess they've had some in times past. 8 flags on the Spartans, 8 penalties for 75 yards. They let the clock run out now. After 3 quarters of play, it's still ball game. Only a 13-point difference. And we'll be back with the Eagle Aloha Bowl after this message and the word from RABC Station. Hurts, Jolt. Pain, my teeth. The dentist said I'd be all right. And he gave me a different medicine. It's in these little yellow pills. Nuprin. Works so well on that pain. No wonder it's great for my tough headaches. Nuprin. It's not aspirin, not Tylenol. It's ibuprofen. You know, 2 Nuprins stop my headaches better than extra strength Tylenol. And Nuprin's gentler on my stomach than aspirin. Nuprin. Little, yellow, different, better. It even worked on my worst pain. If you expect the best, what kind of rebate would you expect from Jeep and Eagle? The guaranteed rebate. Now you get a $1,000 rebate on 1990 Jeep Cherokee, $1,000 on Eagle Talon, $2,000 on Eagle Premier